into and I'm here to tell you about why you should have an advance directive. How many out there even know what an advance directive is? I see those 3 hands. Good. The purpose of this presentation, I would hope, is after I'm finished, you would all be inspired by the urgency and the importance of an advance directive and run out and get one. What is an advance directive? Well, it's basically 4 different parts. One part is your healthcare power of attorney, your living will, your do not resuscitate order, and your donor registry for donating your organs to needy people and organization. So let's go over the healthcare power of attorney. Basically, it's somebody who you trust and can feel confident certainty that they're going to perform the will of your end-of-life decisions. Or if you don't want to give anybody that much power, then you can make a lot of the end-of-life decisions yourself in an advance directive. Things like you can consent or refuse to consent any care, treatment, service, or procedure, and that's called a living will. You can maintain, consent to diagnose, otherwise affect mental or physical conditions. You can select or discharge any doctor or healthcare provider or institution. You can approve or disapprove any procedure, diagnostic tests, drugs, etc. It gives you a lot of power. You can direct the provision or withholding or withdrawal of nutrition and hydration, feeding tube. You can direct, that one is the wrong one. You can have a do not resuscitate order with CPR or the paddles that they give you when your heart stops. And you can donate your organs to the organ registry. So you can also have the drugs, that's a good thing. Morphine, dying and end-of-life situations are very painful, and you have the right to make sure that you're well medicated so that you don't suffer through that. You can also authorize an autopsy in case you, for some reason, believe that some mistakes were made and you want to maybe have a lawsuit as a possibility. You can authorize your medical records to be transferred to get a second or third opinion. You can designate your primary caregiver the responsibility to be of that second and third opinion. And you can make any other wishes that you want made known in this directive. Now, don't be intimidated by the process. I just got out of the hospital this last year because I had an infection in my arm, and I was on antibiotics for 6 weeks. So I'm very familiar with the whole process. And it's not very intimidating. It only took me 10 minutes to do mine. And let me help you out by reading to you some of the things that I put in my own advance directive. For example, I do not want my life to be prolonged if I have an incurable or irreversible condition that will result in my death within a relatively short period of time. That makes sense, doesn't it? I don't want my life to be prolonged if I become unconscious or to a reasonable degree of medical uncertainty will not regain consciousness. Or the likely time frame of the risks and the burdens of treatment would outweigh the benefits. And a trial artificial ventilation would not suffice. I do not want permanent ventilation. I do not want a tracheotomy. I do not want dialysis. I do not want a blood transfusion. Do not want to be fed through a tube. Do not want to be hooked up to any machine. Am I making myself clear? Also, the quality of my life, if it's compromised and not made to be 100%. Oh, sorry about that. Prolonging my life. Should I continue?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. We're all familiar with the Terry Schiavo situation. It was a woman who became brain damaged, and for whatever reason, her husband did not believe that her life was worth living. So he wanted to pull the plug. Only problem is she had 2 loving parents who felt that her life was very much worth living, and she was very responsive to them. She was very responsive to their love, and they fought, and a judge had to decide whether she lived or died. And believe me, you do not want this happening to you. Obviously, Terry Schiavo did not have an advance directive, so the decision was not hers. Who knows what she would have won? We just heard Israel's Prime Minister, Ariel Sharon, just died, and I couldn't believe my ears. He was in a coma for 8 years. my gosh, who was responsible for making his medical decisions? I mean, he obviously did not have an advance directive. I can't imagine anyone wanting to be in a coma for 8 years. Then there's my cousin George and Farrell. George went to work on December 2nd, and he collapsed at work. He had a heart attack. His aorta valve had collapsed. And he was taken to the hospital. His wife met him there. They said their I love yous. He went into surgery, and he never regained consciousness. He was in a coma for 37 days. During surgery, he had experienced multiple and massive strokes in his brain, which virtually left him like a vegetable. The good news is, even though he died 4 days ago, he had an advance directive, and George was able to direct the physicians that if I'm in this condition, pull the plug, and so they did. They pulled his feeding tube, and his funeral is this Saturday. So this is very fresh on my mind. So let's review. You need an advance directive. Everyone needs an advance directive. And you need to appoint someone who you know and trust to make the decisions that you possibly cannot make. You need to make your medical wishes known in advance in this directive. You need, your loved ones won't have to make those decisions so that if you make them, they won't have to make them. And you need to make known your desire to be pain-free during this process. And then give copies to your attorney, to your family, to your doctor, and to the healthcare provider that you happen to be at. So thank you very much. It's my desire that you all run out and talk to your doctors and fill out your health care directives, because life is so fragile. We never know what's going to happen. My cousin certainly did not. Thank you very much.